Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cooking with the Colonel.
Hey, welcome. Glad you could come over. Have a seat.
I
Not
can't.
You. Hey, welcome. So, thank you, Julie Christiansen. We're going to make your Persian chicken with preserved lemons today. That's the plan. It's a little involved. I had to go some special places to see. I just figured you guys might get a kick out of this. Really, what drove this whole thing was this right here. This has been scaring you, hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been scaring Bella and the ravishing Mrs. Ritter now for, probably a year. These are preserved lemons. I made these back in January of 2019 and have been keeping these, and I had no clue what to make with them. I saw it on some cooking show one time, and they used preserved lemons. These are, now I was a little hesitant because it started getting dark, and really what that is oxidation, because there was a little bit of air, because I didn't add juice to it. But all this right here is salt. There's no way there's anything bad living in there. Now they smell wonderful. I'm looking forward to it, but I've been told that I would have to try this first before they will try it. Right.
Right.
Yeah, because they're a little nervous. So we'll see how this goes. If you don't have preserved lemons, now the preserved lemons, there's all kind of, and I just went online and found a recipe for preserved lemons to make it because it intrigued me. I like the idea of that. Now, in my travels in India, I will say that they have these preserved lemons like pickled, like preserved like that, sitting out in crocks, and they just sit out all the time. Nothing bothers them, and they taste just fine. So these smell fine. There's no terrible odor or anything else, so let not your heart be troubled. I got a few other things. I've got some different spices. I've got some harissa that I made, which is basically just crushed red peppers and chili peppers and a little bit of oil all mixed together. We're going to use that. Some honey. I've got some turmeric, some ginger, some cinnamon, all the recipes down below, as well as the directions for what we're doing. And on your way down, what are we going to do?
Like and subscribe.
And also
Ring the little bell.
Ring the bell so that you'll know. Got 8 chicken thighs. Okay, come on over here, Bella. Come on.
All right.
So I've got my. This is some folks have asked about this before. It's a Cuisinart oven friendly. Is it Cuisinart or Cuisinart?
I mean, it's cuisine, so Cuisinart. Cuisinart.
Cuisinart.
Yeah.
That's what that is. Cuisine.
How did you say it the first time?
Cuisinart.
That don't sound right.
So I 2 onions cut in thick half-moon slices, and then I put in here with about a tablespoon or so, maybe a tablespoon and a half of olive oil, nice olive oil, just to soften them up. All right, and this is going to be a stew. So all of this is going to go in here together. I'm going to put these chicken thighs in here. Now, Julie, the recipe says skinless, but I like skin. So I'm going to put these in here. Now, the ravishing Mrs. Ritter asked the very good question is, who's going to eat all of that? And I said, well, I will if you don't. So hopefully this turns out really well. Okay, so our chicken goes in. Wash my hands. Is that? Does it start to smell good? Is the smell meter on?
Just smells like onions right now.
Okay.
Which isn't a bad thing.
There's a couple of things I did ahead of time. I got a pot of water boiling because I'm going to use some of this water to put in here in a little bit. You'll see. And I'm also going to use whatever I don't use in here, I'm going to use to boil 4 eggs. I also went through, I've got some hazelnuts that go on. So the hazelnuts go on, crushed hazelnuts. I toasted these 350 for about 15 minutes or so. And then I've got some breadcrumbs, just plain breadcrumbs that I toasted 350 degrees for 8 minutes. So I did that all ahead of time. Now I'll put all this to the side, and we'll get to this later as well. The lemons we'll get to later. I've also got some dried apricots here. That'll go in later as well. But the chicken goes in, and I just lay it in here, and then I'll just kind of just mix it around with the onions. Kind of mix it around with the onions all mixed in. So what I'm going to do, smell good. I love sauteed onions. Bella, did you know some of the, have you been watching the news about all these rocket launches and everything else? You hear about NASA's plans?
What are their
to
plans?
Maybe putting a station up on the moon? Did you know that?
I didn't.
And they were talking about that, and one of the things they're talking about doing is opening a restaurant up on the moon for the people that live there. Did you know that?
What's it going to be called?
Well, it won't. I don't know, but I'm
That's half
wondering.
the fun.
I'm wondering how good the restaurant would be. I've heard it's pretty much going to have no atmosphere there.
Oh. See, I thought the joke was going to be about the name, but
No.
something different.
No, I took a long ways to get there for not much payoff, didn't I? All right, so.
A long ways to get there, like to the moon.
Oh man, I made a joke there. I didn't even know it. So I've added what I did. I pre-loaded this up in the bowl here. So this is the ginger, which you see below. How much? The turmeric and the cinnamon, and I'm going to just kind of mix this in. I'm going to just put the dry ingredients in.
Oh wow!
Now cinnamon, it's got a lot of cinnamon in, but cinnamon I find really takes over a dish. So, and then we're going to add the harissa and the honey. So I'm going to go with 2 teaspoons of harissa. Now this stuff, I'm looking forward to using this like in some eggs and stuff. Smell that. Smell it.
Oh yes.
Smell it? Yeah. So 2 teaspoons of harissa. This is just mild harissa. You could put that on a pita too. And then I want 3 tablespoons of honey. Now the recipe you sent Julie called for 3 tablespoons of clear honey. And I couldn't find any of that. So, and if I go over a little bit, maybe use a little bit more than 3 tablespoons, that'd be all right. You don't have a problem with that, do you, Bill?
I don't.
I do love that honey. This is some local honey that just happens to be in one of these little bears. Bought this at the local store. From Bee City. Bee City, man. Would you want to live there in Bee City?
Cute name.
It is, but man, you know, I'm wondering, you get stung a lot there, don't you think?
I've never been stung by a bee.
Never have?
Nope.
Oh, that's no fun.
Or a wasp or anything like
Wasp
that.
are worse. You know, bee sting, when it stings you, it pulls out the, now once you get all that in there, you kind of mix it up real good. Oh man, smell those flavors? It's interesting, huh? This is Persian chicken, so that there's a lot of this stuff that goes with like Middle Eastern cooking, you know, the turmeric and turmeric, the harissa and all that. So all my travels over there in the Middle East, you know, get a lot of that food with the with all the meals and stuff they have. I love it, man. It's so flavorful. All the flavors come together. Indian food, Middle Eastern food, all of that. They just so in your face with the flavors. So we're kind of mixing all this together. Now what we're gonna do is pour boiling water over this and cover it. We want to cover the chicken, and then we're gonna simmer it for an hour and a half. So pretty much, it's kind of easy. It's just getting all the ingredients together. And most people don't think to get harissa. I've never bought harissa before. We get it on our
Pitas.
gyros there at the local store. What's the
I
name
don't
of that
think
place?
it's gyros. Gyro?
Gyro? Is that the way
I
it's
think
pronounced?
that's, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, that smells good. You smell that?
Ooh.
So what we're gonna do is now, and I wrote all the directions down, Julie. So I'm trying to follow. So you guys are learning as well as I am. I am not an expert at this dish, but so we're exploring together. We're gonna try it out and see. Boiling water to cover chicken. So I got the boiling water here. Let me use my pot holders. And this is gonna make a nice stew. So just to cover the chicken, because it's gonna simmer and boil down. Let's stir this around, get all that goodness up off the bottom of the pot there. Oh my gosh. It's not, you know, it's not spicy like hot. It's just, they're so complex spices and flavors, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? There, and we're gonna turn this heat. We got it down about to medium just to simmer it. We'll get it to a simmer, and I'll adjust the heat to keep it at a simmer. We're gonna cover it. Set the timer for an hour and a half, so hour and a half, Bella. All right?
All right.
In the meantime, I'm gonna boil 4 eggs, and I'm gonna boil them and then peel them and halve them, and that's gonna go on the dish here in a little bit. So that's what you're going to see there. When we come back, it'll be time to put the preserved lemons in and the apricots. And we're probably 2 hours from eating, so 7 o'clock. Okay?
All right.
All right. So we'll see you in a minute. Alrighty, we're back. Hey, Bella. Did you
Hello.
miss me?
Yeah.
All right, it's been an hour and a half. So come on over here and look real quick. How's it smell, Bella? Can you smell it?
Good.
Got the smell-o-meter on? Really smell all the ginger and the cinnamon and
Very
all. So it's
colorful.
really, it is, isn't it? So it's cooking out. It's really savory too. Now, one of the things you might remember this. One of the things we learned from watching MasterChef is what do they use to kind of cut through some of the savory taste? What do they put in things to when things are really like thick and heavy and savory like that? What do they put in there? Do you remember?
I don't. What?
Like lemon, right? An
Oh,
acid
yeah.
of something. You hear him talking about sometime like we need an acid of some kind, right? So come on back over here. So they put lemon juice or vinegar or something like that. So what we're gonna do again, and this is what drove this whole recipe were the preserved lemons. Now I took them out of that jar that didn't look so good. But I took them out. Now some of them, the ones that were on top, you see how they're a little darker? See that? Mm-hmm. And then there were some that were in the salt that the air couldn't get to at all. And you see how they're a little lighter, but they're still brown.
Yeah.
All right, so they're going to be fine. I mean, the botulism, that stuff can't live in that salt. So the lemons are preserved. They're even pickled quite a bit. Now I took some of them and I peeled the pulp out of them, and I got rid of them. I kept some of the pulp because I'm going to put these in. So this is probably roughly the equivalent of about probably 4 lemons or so. I think the recipe calls for 8, but this is what I got. So they're actually very. You smelled it. How did it smell? Kind of really salty, kind of a real deep lemon, like not. It doesn't have. What was the description I read earlier? Was the lemon? It doesn't have that sharp bite like lemon juice does. It has a. It's like a deep, you know. I don't want to use burning, but it's more of a mellow lemon taste. So this is a little bit of the rind. You can actually eat it. So, and it's good. And it reminds me of the pickled lemons that I had in India. I have them on these little chips. No, they're really good. So what I've got is my preserved lemons and 16 dried apricots. And all of those are going to go into the pot. And we'll put them in. And then we're going to stir them in. So I'm going to put these back in here. Now, so this acid from this lemon should really cut through the the savory flavors and all the savoriness here of the chicken really make this pop. And we're gonna do is bring the heat back up. So we were simmering it now for an hour, hour and a half. And I'm gonna cook it for another half hour with the lemons and all in it and the apricots in it for a half hour with the lid off. And we'll bring it back up to a simmer and simmer it for another half hour. And then that should boil some of the juices out. And then we'll go from there. So let's get this back up to a simmer. You see the grease on top and all too from cooking off from the chicken? Oh, that really smells good. Oh my gosh. Really smells good. I can't wait to try this. So I'm gonna make myself up a pot of, that's a nice move. That's like a Spielberg move, what you just did. Slow pull up like that.
I do have,
Skills.
experience.
Is that skills with a Z? Skills.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make myself up a pot of rice that I'm gonna put this over the top of here. So we'll check back in a half hour. Okay, let's see it start to come back up to a simmer again. And we'll come back in a half hour and we'll take the next step. Okay, so we'll be right back. All right, it's been another half hour and you can see the juice is kind of condensed down and cooked down. It smells heavenly. I have to see this spoon here and I've tasted some of it. So the lemon's really cut into it nice. You can see it's starting to look like more like a stew. The chicken's breaking down. And of course the lemons are right in there doing their magic. See, these things it's not like a lemon peel. I mean, you can see it just breaks right off. It's real soft. It's like a pickled lemon. That's what it is. All right, so what we're gonna do now at this point is turn the heat off. And I've taken my 4 eggs and it says just lay them on top. On top of the stew here. And I'll put the top back on. And we'll give it 10 minutes, set the timer for 10 minutes, and then we'll be right back and we'll be ready to serve, I think. All right, see you in a minute, Bella. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes. Now, so we let it sit. I've already kind of prepped my plate a little bit. Now what I did, the last part here, I have toasted hazelnuts, half a cup. I did a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, and then I got some parsley, some fresh parsley from outside. And it says just to sprinkle it over the top to serve. And Bella, I'll let me make my plate up without doing this. And this is going to go over the top of this.
I didn't know you were doing this.
And this is how it's served. And this, you can take this and set this out on the table, and everybody dig in, and you can see, you can look now, the chicken kind of really broke down as it slow cooked in there, and the lemon's all cooked through. And I'm gonna dust this here. I made myself a plate, let it cool down a little bit so that it wouldn't burn my mouth. So maybe this will be a first, huh? So I got myself a big old bite of chicken. And hold on one second. So focus on that. So let's see. All right, Julie, moment of truth. So I'll put it over some rice. I got my chicken. So the chicken's super tender, really getting all the flavors have kind of melded together. Oh, that's so good. So that's a winner, Julie. That's 5 buttermilk biscuits out of 5. That's the new scale, Bella. What'd you think of that?
Original?
Original, yeah. So there you go, Persian chicken with preserved lemons over rice. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I'm going to enjoy eating this. I got the little egg on the top. That's a nice choice. And then I've got a little sprig of mint here just for color. So, what is that? Was that pretty artistic, Bill? Yes. All right. So I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, like and subscribe. The ingredients and the directions are down below. Actually, after cooking it, there's a lot of steps, but it's not that hard. It comes together pretty good, and the flavors are incredible. So I hope you enjoy it, and see you next time, Bella. All right, so Colonel Sand, over and out.